Frida Kahlo, may she rest in peace, but her legacy forever lives on. And I guess part of why I'm thinking a lot about her and just what I've learned from studying her journey and studying her alchemization of pain into power, her transmutation, I should say, of loss and anger and feminine rage into iconic works of art. Like, what? And I'm thinking about her because I am currently on bed rest, and per the doctor's orders, I cannot really do much. But thank God I am a singer, and thank you, Jesus, I am also a writer. So I've taken this time to really focus on thinking about those works that I have been a little bit too scared to write, because I know what they can mean in this socio-political climate. And I think Frida Kahlo, she really embodied the expression of her artistic vision by any means necessary. And if you are an artist who finds yourself in troubled times, whether that is emotionally, financially, in your intimate relationships, or physical pain, maybe you are battling an ailment, whether it is short-term or long-term, I really hope that the life and the triumphs of Frida Kahlo can give you some inspiration. So I have been a fan of Frida Kahlo since I was, honestly, I want to say the first time I even knew who she, or even learned who she was. I have to say I was in second grade. I believe so, because we used to do all of these projects, and I was in art club, and we would learn about different artists. So I remembered learning about Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo and all of these Latin American artists who were very revolutionary and very instrumental in pushing forth a lot of progress. And I think also there's a lot going on in the United States where I live. There's a lot going on. I could go on and on for days. I mean, truly, I studied this stuff at Brown, and it's also just very crazy to see the increased censorship of institutions of higher learning, the censorship of art, of music, books. And then I see a story of how Amy Sherald, one of the most prolific painters of our time, also a Black woman, just putting that out there because there's not that many of us represented in the Western art world. And honestly, even in African art spaces, it's still very male dominated, but that is a very different story, because I think that what we are seeing with Amy Sherald having to cancel her solo exhibition at the Smithsonian because of their attempt at censorship over a work which, whether or not you agree or disagree with the thematic elements of the work, I think it goes without saying that as human beings, we are born creators. Like, artwork is some of the oldest artifacts that we have to learn about early humanity. The little cave scratchings that historians and anthropologists look at to understand how humans evolved into the, well, once intelligent beings that we were as a species. Because right now, this attack on intellectualism and this attack on art, I'm just like, where do we go from here? And I do believe that the role of the artist is to bring light, but sometimes people, I guess, get tripped up over the fact that the ways to bring light to issues and bring light to humanity is not always going to depict perfection. It's not always going to depict what you want to see. Sometimes we have to tell stories that are uncomfortable to say. And that's why Frida Kahlo, I think, is just such an amazing inspiration for those of us who are grappling with how to transmute pain and feminine rage into beauty and into power and into sovereign creative expression. This is a woman who navigated misogyny not only at the hands of society, but also at the hands of her mentor and lover and husband, who did cheat on her with her sister, Diego Rivera. He is also a prolific artist from his time, but I think when you look at how Frida Kahlo was still able to center her experience and center her sovereignty in her artwork, we talk about it decades later. It's just so important to remember that we will be a part of the history books. If you are an artist right now, you're doing shows, you're doing gallery shows, and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like, when's the last time I sold a painting? Oh my goodness, like there's all of this extra stuff, because I get it. I have to battle the pressure to try to figure out, oh my gosh, am I supposed to have a strategy for this? And like, is this a podcast? Is this a series? Or can I just share my thoughts? And I had to remind myself the other day that, Odemi, before you are this CEO persona, before you are a founder of a company, which I am proud of, before you are an Ivy League graduate, which I am proud of, you are an artist. You are a woman with something to say. You are a woman who has had your own unique experiences in life, and you are a woman who has had to really fight in my own way to have the opportunities that I have. Like, I think so many of us are having to engage with a prolonged sense of disassociation, but also grief at what could have been with this country, and seeing it essentially cave into itself. Like, are you kidding me? And Frida Kahlo, I keep on coming back to her because she, in modern history, I think is the perfect example of what it means to own your divine feminine power by any means necessary. Did she have flaws? Did she have weaknesses? Yes, she did. But this is a woman who went through so much physical pain, from the accident when she was young to the health matters that she had to navigate that resulted in her miscarriages, and just even the emotional pain from her relationship with Diego Rivera. And yet she turned that into artwork on her own terms. We still have that power. We have that power to take this collective anger that I see. It's definitely a collective rage, but I always ask women when I meet them, and if I sense that they're trying to build a friendship with me, I always ask, like, so how do you channel your anger? Because I think that gives me insight into who a person is. And as an artist, we have some of the best ingrained ways of being able to turn a volcano into a mountain with flowers. Like, I'm talking Sound of Music in the snap of a finger, with pen to paper. The minute we decide, yeah, I'm gonna record that demo, it's not gonna sound perfect, but I'm gonna post it anyways, which I am gonna start doing stuff like that, because that's all I can do, is keep creating. And even with this flow of consciousness that I'm sharing, as I nurse myself back to health with the help of my caring, loving mother, like, she has been taking care of me, and I've just been appreciating what it means to also lean into community, what it means to lean on others. The United States is such an individualistic society, and artwork as well, I think, sometimes takes on that sense of isolation. But I remember watching, it wasn't a documentary, it was like a fictional portrayal of, well, not fictional portrayal, God, what are they called? And how do you say that word? Is it biopic? I've heard it pronounced differently, y'all. I was raised by immigrants. Like, there's some words that I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't know the I don't know the American pronunciation of that. But I watched it, and I think it was starring Salma Hayek, and she was phenomenal. I actually, honestly, now that I think about it, I didn't finish the movie. I think I had like 20 minutes left or something. I was watching it on a flight, and I just remembered they just had so much community. Whatever happened to artist collectives? Now it's like we are seeing these old paradigms and gatekeepers kind of fade away. I mean, the Smithsonian and Amy Sherald story, this is historic, and it's going to matter in the years to come. An artist's decision to turn down one of what was, at a time, one of the most prestigious galleries in the nation, because of censorship, this is going to matter. Things are changing. And I think that the best way to respond, at least for me, is with even more intense authenticity. Oh, now it's really F you to your algorithms, because I have to say yes to me. I have to say yes to the divine calling that I have upon my life as an artist. And I really encourage you to do so as well. Be raw, be vulnerable, okay? On your own terms, of course. Be vulnerable with your art. When you're facing that canvas, when you're facing that page, when you're touching that guitar, picking it up and saying, okay, what am I allowing to flow through me? Be honest, because the most honest artwork is that which we remember forever. Like, people remember how you made them feel. And I've been really clear, I think, with the message of my artwork thus far. The themes are pretty pronounced. This appreciation of Afro-Indigenous womanhood, this celebration of sovereignty, this emphasis of our innate connection to Mother Earth. That always will be the underlying theme of my work. But I do think I am stepping into the next wave of Odemi artist core, which is scary a bit, but also fun to navigate, because it's like, wow, the world is changing, but also so am I. And for me, I'm just realizing that I cannot put a cap on the overflow that wants to run through me. And I really highly recommend that you don't either. And yes, it may feel hard. Yes, you may be navigating really hard challenges, but you can do hard things. And honestly, I think sometimes when we are faced with hard moments, it is our softness that is able to kind of flow through the cracks and break everything down. And then we enter into that flow state where we are one with the divine, and we are able to really create from a heart-centered space, and we are able to speak from the soul. And when you speak from the soul, you reach other souls, and that's what Frida Kahlo was doing. If you have not familiarized yourself with her work, I highly recommend that you do, because Frida Kahlo went through so much, and she also accomplished so much during her lifetime. And she did so while having to overcome pain almost on a daily basis. I think being able to honor her legacy as women artists with a lot more freedom to say and do what we want. Maybe in the US it's being attacked, but guess what? Guess what? No one gets to tell you what to paint. No one gets to tell you what to write. You write what you want to write. You paint what you want to paint. And if people want to censor you, if they want to censor the truth of your experience, because there were people who were disturbed by Frida Kahlo's exploration of feminine rage. There were people who were disturbed by her exploration of very heavy topics, from her miscarriages to her pain to even the loss of loved ones. She went there. And I'm not saying you have to explore those topics, but the world is crazy enough right now where if you feel like the only way that you can keep from staying in a consistent state of disassociation, because we can't disassociate forever. Yeah, okay, like kind of shielding myself from what's happening is great for my nervous system and apparently my heart rate. And that's what the EMT told me. I have a really good like resting heart rate, so yay for meditation and staying stress-free. But I think it comes a time where we also have to answer the call, because that darkness has to be met with some type of light, because that's literally what you do when you create something from nothing. When you create art, you are birthing it from the darkness within, the darkness inside of you. It's nothing, and then you mold it into something. It's God consciousness on the highest level, to be quite honest. And when you tap into that energy, you are able to change the world. Frida Kahlo changed the world with her art. There's no doubt about it, because we're still talking about this woman. She did something so profound and so pronounced and so important for the progress of women artists forever. As long as humans shall exist, I think Frida Kahlo's name will always be an important one to know. And I think that your art will always be important as well, because like I said, you know, artists, we are tasked with this calling. It's a divine one, and I hope you answer the call. So that's what I will be doing in a more unrestricted way on this channel moving forward. I will be back on camera soon. I can't film right now. So I am welcoming all positive thoughts and prayers and well wishes. And I cannot wait to get back in front of the camera and maybe share something different from what you're used to seeing from me. So yeah, I will chat with y'all soon. Bye.